I think there are two challenges, and we can look for from the two different perspectives. First challenge is that globalization leads to creation of kind of like new processes that happen in economy and in society that have to be taken, into account when we design our surveys. I mean, we have to respond to the new needs that are coming from the fact that we observe new processes. This is one thing. The second challenge is that even in the case of the things that we thought we are covering well with our statistics, the globalization brings a lot of new complexities, and we have to reconsider how we do the old-fashioned statistics in terms of, for example, business statistics, in order to produce something much more valuable to our users. The increased complexity of how the businesses produce things, lead to a situation in which national statistical institutes cannot cover with their surveys, or gather with their surveys all the necessary information to compile meaningful statistics. And the challenge comes from the fact that these activities are done across the countries, and we do only have the access to what's going on in our country, but still corporations are parts of the bigger groups internationally, and we have to find a way how to cope with this problem. So the three priorities, I would think that first one would be to increase our cooperation with the national central banks. Through the exchange of data and experience and expertise, we can come up with better statistics. Another thing is that we should do the same on the international level, especially on an intra-European level, so that we can share our experiences and share data information about multinational enterprises across Europe, in between us and in between the central banks. I think this is the same across all the countries. So, for example, we used to teach students what a GDP is, but the GDP is getting increasingly more and more complicated. And really to interpret it, you need to know much more than just like a pure definition of what the GDP is. And we remember from the past, before GDP there was a GNP, it was a major indicator of the economic activity in the country. Then we came up with the GDP. What we have today is kind of like, it's not enough. We have to come up with a way to communicate about the state of our economy using a whole set of different indicators, just to be sure that we convey the message that is deep enough for the people to understand the real complexities of the economy in society nowadays.